Getting ready for the next panel. Yesterday with the ships, let me say, the Zeus looks fantastic. I want the Clipper. The Scout Cutter, I'll probably have to get one just because I actually love the Cutter. I'm hoping that the third variant of the Cutter is a medical cutter. I said it on Twitter. It's just how I feel. I think that would be fantastic. To have a jump seat and a medical bed in the cargo bay would be fantastic. This one for day 2, this segment is about character advancement, which I guess is, you know, a more in-depth look at the character creator and the things that are coming, fabric stuff and hair stuff. Hopefully that means more hairstyles or better hairstyles. I mean, as to, I have gotten a couple of comments on YouTube. Well, one on YouTube and a couple of messages about how I didn't seem very enthusiastic over the demo. I am reservedly enthusiastic about anything to do with Star Citizen. Cautiously optimistic that we will actually see these things in the next 12 months. But we all know things get delayed, things happen, and things sometimes don't come out at the speed to which we expect. So, yeah. You know, I want to be excited. I want to be filled with hype. I want to be thrilled. I want to be wooed. I want to be amazed. And the demo was amazing to see, but will it actually arrive? All those things coming. You know, the destructible terrain they showed. And, you know, of course, the Cutter Scout is out now, but it's a variant in which they just kind of rearranged the furniture a little bit and added a thing. I'm hoping that they increase the ship production lines and get things out faster. I think that would be a game changer as they speed up development and get, as we start hurtling towards 4.0. But we will see. I gotta move some things around here. There we go. We will see what actually comes of this if, you know, these things come true. A more advanced character creator so we can have more personalization of our characters would be amazing. I hope that is a thing that we see. Only time will tell. But I'm hopeful. But let's see what this presentation brings us. And the other presentations throughout the day. Yesterday, I was just exhausted, which is why I ended after the demo and the tech top. We watched things. I watched the ship show where they talked about the merchantmen, which they had their reasons, and it is what it is. I'm not invested in that particular ship. I want one at some point someday when I can get it in game, because it's like many of the, you know, larger capital or sub-capital type ships, they're outside of my financial means by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll see where that goes. But, you know, the prices for the Zeus looked interesting. I thought I would like the Clipper. I really would. But it's a someday kind of thing. That's the nice thing about most of the ships in the game, is that, you know, they will be available if you can earn them eventually. Once we get to 1.0 and launch, you can actually earn those ships through hard work. And I've got the ships to do that in my inventory now. So eventually I'm going to need a big freighty type ship. I really will. But I'll worry about that later. Let's worry about, you know, what comes in the next 12 months. You know, 3.22 by the end of the year, I believe they said yesterday. Although they might have updated while I was napping, because I did nap in between. Is that a hot dog? Which will have the cargo quests, which, you know, salvage for some money, do some courier stuff for some beginning money out of the gate, and then run cargo until I get up. That's Care Bear. Until I get up ship to run more cargo missions and do the things. Because, you know, at my heart, I'm going to be an industrialist. I will throw down when necessary, and I will do all the things in Star Citizen. But I will find joy being a space trucker. Hopefully, with this presentation, we'll find out how good looking of a space trucker I can make. That's the next question. I want to see all the wavy hair follicles. And here's to day 2 of CitizenCon 2953.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the person who forgot to create himself an intro, Disco Lando!
Oh.
Woo-hoo! He also had caffeine in the last 10 minutes. Welcome to CitizenCon Day 2, everybody! Are you pumped? Are you psyched? Have you eaten 2 dogs?
Oh.
Get in your seats. It's about to start, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 2. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Up first, character advancement with Ian, Sean, Forrest, Andre. Give it up. Bone, start the show.
Okay, that was some exciting energy. Character advancement.
Hello there. Hey everyone, it's so good to see you all again in person. Thanks for coming out. So I'm Ian, I'm the art director for Star Citizen. We're gonna kick off the first ever day 2 of CitizenCon by talking about some of the awesome work done by the character team. All right. So first let's talk about life in a frontier system like Pyro and how this influences the character designs. So we wanted to create something unique.
Smashley's right. It looks like Tatooine.
Already. We want to
with
give
less
a
sand.
wider visual palette and a feeling of historical age between the different solar systems. So this chart describes the fashion pillars for humanity. We can see where all suits, armors, and fashion items should belong. In terms of material use, manufacturing technology, and novelty.
Okay.
So you can see Earth fashion on the left, Terra fashion on the right, and frontier fashion right in the middle with a little bit of overlap of Earth. So essentially,
What's the difference?
Frontier fashion is function over form. They are repurposed and repaired, and generally are misfits rather than sets.
That makes sense.
Outfits are purposeful by having storage solutions. This implies survivability along the frontier. Okay, let's take a look at some of these assets in the game.
It would be nice if you could wear your fashion underneath your armor. And have breathable atmospheres that you can run around in your fashion. You don't need to have your armor on all the time. Would be nice. I mean, yeah, in habitats and cities and things, of course, but you know, it would be nice to have some verdant worlds where the environment's not trying to kill you every minute. Just saying. It's very astronauty. Astronauty? Astronauty. Astronauty. I'm sorry, I'll stop. I like peanuts. Okay. I like the Pyro is looking very, very good cinematically. Lots of snaps. Not enough belt buckles for my Final Fantasy kids. There's some very cyberpunk themes here. It looks very You know, I could see this being like the underside of Night City, which is why I love Area 18, because it's also very Night City, cyberpunky, Blade Runner-ish. That's what Star Citizen needs, more katanas. Just saying. Okay, digging the mask. Very Clockwork Sand Raider.
Okay, awesome. So hopefully you guys that played Pirate Playground, you will have seen a few of those assets being showcased.
I can't wait for Pirate
So as
Playground.
we
I have to
saw
try to get into
from
that.
the video, pouches and storage are a key part of the Frontier aesthetic. This drives the feeling of survivability. But from here, we thought it'd be really cool to give the functionality, but also some customization options. So let's take a look at a video we just developed internally.
Wait.
And this is for modular storage items on the player.
Modular storage, so you can upgrade your clothing, like snap-on belts and buckles and pouches and things. Oh my. Oh. Fascinating. The problem with that though is you die, you lose all that stuff. Very Tarkovsky. So accessorizing like that is great, but I hope those things aren't super expensive and don't come with like a weight threshold that slows you down. Like, are they going to have an encumberment thing, or is it just going to be it's full, you're good? I'm here for it. Don't get me wrong. Although that looks a little silly. A little too many pouches there. Pouchman placement.
Pretty cool, right?
Holsters would be good,
So I
though.
think this will provide loads of customization options in the future. We're super happy about that. So we also created some extreme weather costumes for Frontier locations, and these also follow the same mismatched and repurposed design aesthetics.
Okay.
Now we've also been focusing on achieving a higher visual benchmark. So this is all driven by our new Layer Blend V2 shader and its texture library. And we focused on more consistent wearing between 0 and 100% values.
Okay.
So to showcase this, let's look at a quick example asset.
So it doesn't provide oxygen, but hopefully it provides air filtration. Words. I mean, it's an interesting looking helmet. Dig it. Hope the lights actually light up
So as
in
we saw
dark
in the
areas.
video, the insides of the helmets are looking fantastic. Now this is us getting them ready to animate with put on and take off.
Really?
So in summary, Frontier Fashion is expanding the visual design palette for humans. Giving a more credible
are they going
feeling
to
of age
update
and
the
history
other
as we
things?
travel across multiple solar systems. All right, now let's talk about something different. Now we're going to talk about some of the gangs in Star Citizen. So
Yes,
Ninetales have been one of the main gangs in the game. So far, over 105 million have been taken out by you guys.
Yeah, sounds about right. And we steal their underwear every time.
So you guys have been busy. Great job. All right. So it was like, all right, now we're going to need to introduce a few more factions to the game, okay?
And they should make
So the first faction we're going to
gang
talk about
faction
is Rough and Ready.
paints
the
for
aesthetic of
ships
the
that you
gang
can
was to
collect
be
through
subtle.
missions and stuff.
They're understated in terms of clothing, and they almost blend into their environment. On closer inspection, you'll notice their tattoos. These signify rank and progression within the gang. Let's take a look at a quick video.
Okay. But what are their aims? What are their goals? What do they want? What do they do? Give me the story. What are their motivations? Why am I shooting them in the dome? Holy crap. Oh, sea nuts. Okay. Now I can actually see it. Actually see it. Oh, fuck. Okay. I mean, I want more tattoos in game. I want more customization, more artwork. It would be nice to have corp logos or organizations to incorporate the logos of their orgs into character customization with tattoos, patches, and things. It's nice art, though. Absolutely. Maybe you can collect those for your character to put on. Or go to or build gang rep and get tatted up in pyro at the local tattooist. I'd be here for that.
I think they look absolutely fantastic. Okay. So the Rough and Ready can be found in some of the space stations around Pyro.
We'll be able to earn
Now, the
tattoo
tattoos,
designs and
like I
apply
said,
them for
the
the characters.
tattoos
Yes!
a progressive
Thank
design.
you.
This illustrates the hierarchy within the gang.
Answers my
As a
question.
player, you'll be
Answers
able
that
to
thought.
earn these tattoos and apply them to your character.
It's fantastic.
Okay, cool. The next gang we're going to talk about is Headhunters. So this gang is also located in Pyro.
And then
but
once you have
offers
the
a
tattoos, you'll be
completely
arrested by any
different frontier.
civilized port on site. I mean, only if you
More
run
of a
around
wasteland vibe
topless.
with
Hey,
lots of
Fireball, welcome in.
personality, and this will translate into the behavior types.
Good morning,
Now this gang is currently in
afternoon,
production,
evening, whatever.
but let's take a quick sneak peek.
Yeah, who are these guys? Do they, if they happen to drop your character, do they take your head? Or do they scream, "Witness me"? Because shiny and chrome? I mean, I'm getting that vibe. Oh, very Roman. Roman and chrome. No, the little skulls, because of course, gold mask. I mean, it's a fantastic looking helmet piece. But this game is still compelling. I think I'll wait until release and see what the cheapest entry is. The cheapest entry will be the starter vehicles, which will probably be around 45 bucks. 45, 50 bucks. That will probably be the lowest bar of entry for a starter ship. Dude's got a big nose and flat ass. Hey, Sage. The nice thing is that the majority of the ships in the game you will be able to earn in-game with in-game money over the long term. Oh, here's the Fremen.
So cosplay competition next year I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right.
Well, that's the other thing is
All
you
right.
buy a basic
So they're
pack, you
looking
can
awesome.
always
Now,
melt
the
it
last
down
gang
to
we wanna
upgrade to a
talk
different
about
pack
is
in time.
Dusters. So Dusters are
True.
a criminal gang specializing in mining-related crimes. Now, internally, I love the original Desert Nomad armor. You can see him here.
So they're Fremen.
Now, I wanted to use it
Chasing
as a
after
starting point
spice.
to establish the Dusters design language.
They look like Fremen.
So here we can see-
except for that guy at the end who looks like a Morton Joe. But yeah, they're basically Fremen.
So here we can see the Dusters gang lineup, showing armor leveling and rarity. So as a player, you'll have horizontal
Listed
armor
on a free
progression.
ship for my graphics card.
This
You do
will
not recommend
define your
redeeming the code in
role
time.
and play
Oof,
style.
that's
Then
unfortunate.
you'll have vertical progression.
You
This
should
is
send an
your
email and
progression
complain.
within that role and play style.
See if they'll figure something out
example,
for you.
A common bounty hunter armor set will be weaker than a legendary, and as armor progresses in strength, it's harder to acquire. So harder missions,
Oh, yeah, okay.
rarer drops, higher reputation. Now, as we're talking a little bit about armor sets, let's recap a little. So the goal is that players should
Combat.
consider
Ooh.
which armor to equip based on the role they wish to fill and the scenario
That's
they're
fair,
heading
too.
into.
Plus, it
will be
depends on the
also
ship.
greater differences between the current armor types. So light, medium, and heavy, and this will be in protection and mobility.
Okay.
New armor categories will be combat, specialist, utility, and support.
So I might be able to get medical armor for when Daigoji and I are running triage around, just saving people,
And these will define the type of items that are
the
quickly
Cutlass Red.
available on the slots of the suit.
or the Pisces medical. Tiny little fighter, as I
There will
remember.
also be
But I don't want to
additional
get too serious.
functionality to
Put
assist
serious time
in
into the
your
game.
chosen role.
Fair.
A
Do they have a
matrix of
window for
armor
when
type
they think the game will be
versus
release
category
ready?
will
No.
provide a variety of roles, with each
Not even a
providing
little bit.
best-in-class benefits. There will also be hindrances to out-of-role gameplay. For example, if you're wearing a heavy armor set and you're trying to fly a little snub fighter, you'll have restricted visibility.
Oh,
unless vehicle
nice. The armor types actually matter. I mean, if I'm jumping in a fighter, I'm not going to be wearing heavy armor
So in
anyway.
this
I'm going to have
scenario,
a ship
like
suit and
flight
a helmet,
armor type
and
with resistance to milder G-force.
basically just hope I don't toast.
Okay.
I'll throw the armor in to
So
the
as
ship
we saw in
storage
Ali's
and go for
presentation
it.
Yesterday, hygiene simulates and tracks the accumulated effects of a character going unwashed for any length of time.
Which is why ships have showers.
Poor hygiene can lead to disease,
Oh my
lowered
god.
health, and snarky comments. Hygiene decays faster if a character becomes dirty or wears dirty clothing or armor, and visual effects are going to be displayed on the character's skin, such as blood, sweat, and dirt.
It's supposed to be a
Certain
living, breathing
usables, such as a
universe, and
shower,
people get
will
dirty.
reset the character's hygiene and clean away all of those dirt effects. So let's keep clean.
And getting sick will affect your HP and recovery. It's just like the
Okay, so
the
that
hunger
covers a
and
quick
water
recap
meter. Yeah, it's
on
basically just a
armor
meter to
sets
fill,
and
but
hygiene.
it
Let's
gives
get
that
back to a video
lived in
showcasing the Dusters.
experience for immersion, for especially for the role players, right? Most people are probably going to ignore it, but depending on the planet you land on, you will have effects to your hygiene. Okay, he just looks like a stormtrooper. I like the mask. Still punish people who want to run around the game and kill people instead of actually playing the game. Yeah. Like, you're going to expect pirates are going to be dirty. Well, actually, you never know. There might be some really clean pirates out there who take the time in between ganking people to have a shower. I like the Duster's design. The problem with collecting faction armor and wearing it is that then when you're in a combat zone and one of your friends accidentally pops you in the back of the head because they think you're an enemy. Stunning rogue is the best of the pirate tropes. I mean, it's true. You're not wrong. In fact, showers obsessively. Yes. I mean, even the small ships like the Cutter has a shower. Clean body, clean mind. As far as development goes, we're probably a couple years out from Star Citizen releasing. I think we'll see Squadron 42, the solo game, I'm hoping next year. With an idea for a charisma-based D&D rogue. I mean, sounds plausible. Something I might apply to, actually.
Awesome. So you'll
I
be able
have
to find
that
the dusters scattered
tabletop
around
game with
various
Matt coming
derelict
up.
settlements and wrecks in Stanton,
That could be
and
interesting.
the dusters will be available Q4 this year.
Alright, they're in the game Q4. If they're pyro specific, that means
And with
we'll have
that, I'll hand you
pyro.
over to Sean Tracy. You guys
by
have been
Q4
awesome.
next year.
Enjoy the rest of your show.
I mean, it does sound pretty doable.
Hello, everyone. All right, so I'm Sean Tracy. I'm the Senior Director of Tools and Tech Content here at Cloud Imperium Games in Los Angeles.
Ooh.
So today I want to talk about StarCloth. And StarCloth was initially unveiled at a previous CitizenCon kind of in an early stage. So it's now rolled into full production, and it's used in both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So it's going to be seen on more and more assets, like some of the great art that you just saw. So what's really cool about it is that it's unified with the physical world, whereas before it wasn't unified and was based completely on character movement. Now, it's faster than the previous cloth setups, and in the end, it just looks a whole lot better. So today, I'm going to cover
all
some
about
of the
aesthetic
tech,
appeal.
the pipeline, and we'll see some results. So let's get and see it in action.
All about the immersion. God, that's a sexy coat. I need one of those. My leather
Cloth is
trench
hard.
coat is looking
Guys
a
have to run
little,
upstairs.
a little worn out
They have
and
to
old.
crouch. They have to prone. It's got to collide with the environment. And even more difficult, it needs to hold up in high-end cinematics.
Mm-hmm. Just the environments. What is that? That looks interesting too. Must be from Squadron 42.
Cut that
I don't
one
look like Gary
just
Oldman.
before some good spoilers.
By the time they're done with the engine stuff, they will be able to make movies.
How
Yeah,
does it all work?
most likely.
Well, Cloth uses
The
two
Star
meshes,
Engine
a
is
simulation
just
mesh or cage,
evolving at a
and
rapid
the render
pace at
mesh
this point.
itself. So vertex colors indicate how it's constrained to that cage, and thus the simulation. So for example, black vertex colors indicate a full constraint. Basically, it follows the skinning.
Got a pickpocketing related
White
skills as
vertex
well,
colors
but not much
indicate
for stealth. Yeah,
unconstrained
likely.
vertices. So the
It's more
movement
about
is
talking
determined
yourself out of
entirely by the
situations
simulation.
than
and then
hiding.
we can do a blend of gray values that is used for fine transitions and blending and fall off in between the fully skinned and fully simulated assets.
Yeah, but how
So
will
in
it
the
work with
end,
a color palette?
These meshes are sent to the engine where we bind the cage to the render mesh, and then
Exactly.
tech artists can leverage some of the runtime tools. You can see up on the image that the sim cage mesh has about 5,000 triangles, whereas the actual render mesh is about 45,000 triangles. So it's obviously much more efficient to simulate the sim cage mesh versus just the render mesh itself. So part of the technology is the runtime iteration support, which you can see in the image above me here. That's with all the red spheres. Here we're actually painting the collision radius of every single one of the vertices, and it allows us to fine-tune the simulation without having to add arbitrary collision meshes, though we can. We paint a variety of properties, so some of these other properties are mass or displacement. In the top right, you can see an example of the old legacy implementation using pendulums. And this uses joint chains and collisions, but assets with multiple layers like the one that you can see there, or ones like skirts or gowns, they were really, really difficult to do with pendulum simulation, but they are solved with StarCloth. So I mentioned it's completely unified with the physical world. And what that really means is that wind, impacts, object collisions, thruster backwash, all these kind of things actually react to the cloth reacts to these things, and so much more.
So don't let
So
your
it's not
space
just
engines
character
blow up your
movement.
skirt.
Now, it's a hyper-efficient
them
simulation,
charismatic, but
and
don't-
it's several orders
right?
of magnitude faster than the legacy implementation that we used before, and has a lot of easy-to-control parameters for tech art, which are compression, stretching, and bending. So as mentioned yesterday
does
by
this
Chris
mean
Rain,
for
our
more
senior lead
clothing
physics
development,
programmer,
though?
we support soft body tapered capsules, which are twice as fast as our ragdoll capsules. It's also key to solving one of the most important aspects of plausible cloth simulation, and that's mitigating the tunneling or the clipping that happens through a character. So it's very, very difficult to
Makes
solve
the
those
dumb
pendulums.
hero material.
So with all
Well,
this tech in mind, we can do really complicated assets like the Duster and the one I want to show you now.
God bless him, he's dumb as a rock, but he sure is charming. Oh, that looks lovely.
So here you're seeing about 5 different layers of cloth going on and self-colliding between each other.
I want to live my best Fremen life in Star Citizen. Be a spice trader.
It's reacting to the planet wind, which is always changing. On the front, there's a big leather apron. So this one's actually a lot heavier, and it moves a lot differently than the
For your
cloth on the
space
back.
blacksmithing, you have your leather apron already on hand. And feed enemies to sandworms. Exactly.
So he's walking into the wind here.
Must be from those space cows they showed us yesterday in the demo.
And in the end, as I mentioned, it just looks a whole lot
That looks
better.
like very realistic plastic. Right? That's a mighty powerful wind.
So with that, I want to hand you off to my friend, Andre Piers, who's going to talk about hair.
Yay! The thing I really want to know.
Thank you, man.
Amazing how fast a
Hi,
fight turns
everyone.
in your favor when feeding sandworms.
So,
Yes.
Nice to be here in LA with all you guys. So I want to start with a question, okay? How many of you are actually excited that we're getting new hair into the verse?
Hands up! Yes, please!
All right. So, I'm Andre. I'm the lead artist in our recently formed hair department. We branched out from the character art team and created this department. And it's a pleasure to be here today with all of you and tell you that we're damn proud of what we achieved. It's been a long road, but definitely worth it, okay? Now, we're going to start by just looking at the most impactful changes that we have in
Hey,
our work.
hair is serious
Okay,
business.
a bit of a technicality part. Then you're going to get to
Any
look at
MMO
the
will tell you that.
benchmark assets we have created. Okay? And from there, we're going to take a glimpse.
'Cause
into
the hair in the
future
game right
of
now
what,
is kind of a
hair can
sin.
be with a more diverse hairstyle, where we're trying to run away a little bit from the military look that was driven mostly by what Squadron 42 was. So because we did a lot of work for that as well. And yeah, from there, as a last note, I'll have a special announcement for you guys. Okay?
I mean, fair.
Don't want to spoil it, but you stick around, you're gonna love what we have. Okay? So,
Show me all the hair.
first thing I want to touch now, very simply, okay? Hair for games is hard. It's really hard. Oh, by the way, did I tell you these are actually game-ready assets in the persistent universe?
What? I like the pun. Mohawk's
Fully
nice.
rendered in our engine, okay? Game-ready, performant, ready to be shipped, okay?
The
So,
dude's fluffy hair, I
is
get
really
it,
hard,
but
like I was saying.
a little
It is a AAA challenge, basically. You see games that get it, games that don't.
too fierce for me.
Some of them get it more or less. Either way, for us the challenge is the same. We're not different, and the challenge is real. With the scope of Star Citizen, like day-night cycles, all these light shafts, all this MMO, people running around with the hairs, a lot of motion, a lot of fast-paced movement. Yeah, it is hard.
Except
But
most people are
the
wearing
thing
helmets
is,
anyway.
We have arrived. Okay? And
Saying?
Yeah, glad.
Most of the time, everybody's got
And
helmets
it doesn't
on.
end here. Okay? Yeah.
Maybe
It does
fix
not
hats
end
so that
here,
they don't look
okay?
bald all the
And
fucking
here's the
time when they
idea.
put them
We
on.
just, keep pushing the boundaries, but
Would
like
be
I
nice,
said,
I'm
we're really
just
proud of
saying.
what we're showing you here today.
You know,
So,
stuff that The Sims
let's
has
start with what
figured out.
Made all this possible, okay? On a high note, on a high level, basically, a successful hair requires three fundamental elements, okay? There's
I want helmet hair to be a
there's the
thing.
placement,
Yes.
And there's also the shader. If one of these elements fails,
I want your hair to get fucked up
Okay, so
after a
it's
long
basically
battle,
gonna
be
have
all
great
sweaty
texture,
and
great
droopy and
placement.
tangled and
If your,
gnarly.
shader is
I mean, they
wrong,
talked about hygiene.
no go.
Then,
Really.
you know, gotta wash that hair and get
Texture fails,
it
or
back
if
to
the
picture perfect.
placement fails. So
That would be lovely.
Really vital, really important that everything works together. But the good thing is, by breaking down the hair into
Yep,
these three
matted
parts,
hair,
it also
gnarly
allows
hair,
us
just,
to actually
you know,
go deep into each of them.
Yeah,
and,
get
push the
haircuts,
quality up.
no
Or
fixing
like
it.
Chris Roberts
That would be
say,
fantastic.
Bring the high fidelity, right?
get some alien goop stuck in your hair, you gotta cut it
on
out.
The texture end, there was a lot of changes.
There's nothing we can do about it. It's gotta come out.
What you see on the top
Just like the
there,
bubble
common
gum.
approach of a AAA game would be to have true black, true white on a transparency map, a bit of taper on the tips and roots, and call it a day. That's what happens in 99% of the games. Now at CIG, we went a bit further than that. We tested all the thicknesses that were actually reasonable to test, of course, and we came to a realization. The hair doesn't need to be thin enough. It just needs to look thin. We do need it to be
Well, yeah.
thicker enough, thicker than real life hair, because if you take one of your hairs, you'll see it's really thin, right? So it does need to be renderable. That means if it's really thin, it will be sub-pixel rendered at some point. With the motion and all that, we will get a lot of artifacts. And so that would be a no-go. We do need it to be thicker than in real life. But can we make it look thin? That was the question.
Wow.
So we came to the
Proper
realization
shading.
that from hair, or from scalp to hair, and
Exactly.
from
Thin
hair
but visible.
to the background, so these 2 points, the transition points, are the most important ones for the hair. So we aggressively tapered
Yes.
the tips, which is what you see over there, and added a gradient to it. So no longer true black and true white. Now, this is a lot of technicality. You'll see practical examples of this, but that allowed us to have smooth transitions and basically achieve the result we expected. On the
Quite the
placement
color
side,
spectrum.
we came up with hair libraries, basically. Now, I could be here all day talking about hair libraries, okay? Because I'm a very technical person, and if you see me around the venue, feel free, I'm Andre. You can just come and talk to me about this. I'm not gonna bother you all that for 1 hour about this, but I'm gonna give you a very quick example that you all can relate. So, imagine in real life, you have a construction business and you could make one wall, one roof, one floor and one window. You make it all work together, and from there, you're not only building your house, you're actually building the whole town, and then
Okay.
the whole state, and then eventually the old universe, right? That's what air libraries are. Obviously, the result, if you could do
There's no
that,
chance you would stand
it would be
me
much
talking
cheaper,
about hair
much
libraries
faster,
for an hour.
and above
I
all,
mean,
you wouldn't have a fruit salad of assets, which was what we had
Probably,
in
yes.
the hair not too long ago. And by
he'd
fruit salad, I
probably be
mean
like, "Why are
several
you still
artists
talking to
working
me?"
through the years, each one of them applying their own workflow. Everybody's at different levels of quality, of course, different minds, different ways of seeing the same problem. So, at the end of the day, fruit salad, right? And we want
Yummy, yummy.
uniform quality. So for that, hair libraries are a great solution. We also decreased the time of production of hairs. So, it was taking us 20 to 40 days to create one hairstyle per
Hotel,
hour,
have a drink,
okay?
because
Right
work
now,
conferences are
it's going
stressful.
from like
Yes,
3 to
absolutely.
5, 7
You
days
probably had one
per
before this,
hairstyle,
too.
Which is great news, okay? So yeah,
I know, I probably
yeah, that was
would've.
major achievement.
I was wondering if they will be licensing their engine eventually. That's a very good question.
So
I mean,
hair libraries
it would
are
make
just a
sense
thing.
if they
Love it.
did.
It's not just picking up a
I
texture
would
and
like to
putting it
see
there.
Eve
If you
built
do
on the
that,
Star
like,
engine.
You need to actually see
But
the scope.
will
Luckily,
they?
we have
I
some of
don't
the best
know.
artists in the world on hair working with us, so we managed to achieve this at the scope that we wanted. Now,
Yeah,
on the shader
it would
side,
have to be
there was
provable.
techie
We're
changes as well.
like
Some of them
maybe
are very techy, very cool as
a
well.
year or
I'm
two
gonna run
into
through
actual
fast,
release
some of them,
to
so you
make
can
sure
guys
that they
can understand
really
the
have
scope
it
of what
nailed
we're
down,
working with.
and then
But,
maybe they might license it. It would make
let's just
sense.
understand, like, at bake time, so
Like,
bake
they'd
time is
probably make
prior
a good amount of
to
money
runtime.
if
Runtime is where the game
they
runs,
can
bake
find
time,
companies
we're
that actually
preparing the asset
can
to
use it,
actually put
utilize it
in the
for
engine.
the
And
scope
bake
that it
time,
would
we
require.
calculate the custom normal and we store it per
Yeah.
vertex. So
No,
each
exactly.
vertex gets a custom normal. That makes, in a practical sense, for those who are not too technical, it basically makes the card, the air card, not look like a card. So the normals is help with the way the light reflects, we kind of do more smoke and mirrors on it and make it look not like a card by just making it that way. Now, on the ambient occlusion, we store two baked ambient occlusions onto the color channels of the vertices as well. Now, each vertex on a mesh in any game has a color to it, okay? You might use it or not. Imagine in a car, you have a trunk. You can use it or not. It's up to you. It's not silly to use the car without using the trunk, of course, but if you have a luggage, you can put it there or in the back seat, wherever you want. Now, we decided to use this because it was free. The trunk was already there, so the vertex color was already there, and we just decided to store two ambient occlusions on it. These two ambient occlusions work this way. Light hair, like a blonde hair, obviously needs more shadowing, or less shadowing than a dark hair, right? And so we store two. The length of the card is now baked onto the last one, and that gives us a metric of where the card starts and ends, and allows a lot of cool things you're going to see on the videos I'm about to show. So, one last thing before we can start looking at videos.
Almost lost me with the car.
This is really creative. Total credit to the people for the tools program.
But okay.
I personally
I'm
have nothing
catching
to do
it.
with this. This was already at CIG when I joined. It's absolutely amazing. So, we have an hairstyle that was ready, that you can see over there. And we have a haircut.
I have a feeling he probably could go for an hour or two at this point. I'm not sure you'd understand everything he's saying because I'm getting the mixed metaphors and things like.
The hair starts onto that UV and gives us
he's obviously passionate about hair, and I get it, and I appreciate it.
A 2D
but
space
what?
that relates to a 3D location.
Obviously not my forte in this regard. I just want pretty hairs.
Just paint this spot.
I'm not a technical artist, so.
Which is an insane advancement, because cards normally are stacked on top of each other. So when an artist is placing cards, if you paint one card to make it white here, well, it's going to be stacked on top of the other, and you're going to get spots all over the place and no control over it. So this allows us to give control. And what you see on the last image is the possible results. For example, now I can paint one side of my 2D representation of my 3D space and get this possible result, which is pretty amazing. So,
I mean, I love multicolored hair. That would be fantastic. The more individuality we can put on our characters, the better.
Next video, we're going to take a look at our tools, okay? This is not the way it's going to be exposed to you guys in the character customizer. You'll know more about that later, okay? This is the tools we use we are able to actually create the hairstyles. So let's take a look at this video.
Okay.
You have the full range, so you can go for full white. These are melanin ranges, so realistic ranges. Fully white up to black.
Okay. It's nice how it transitions over time.
Red head as well.
Do the full color range.
Get out of the way.
There's redheads, they're getting there.
You also have the dye feature, where you can see all the things we talked about implemented. You can go a bit more wild on this.
Yes. Come on, show me a nice purple. Give me a nice purple. Or isn't try green. A nice blue. There we go. I saw my purple in there. Yes. Yes. It looks fantastic. The length of the... Oh. Nice. From tips to top. That's fantastic. But can you do it?
And this is why important, the length of the card is stored in those vertices.
Okay.
And obviously you can fade it as well.
What about the card range?
Combinations between the realistic melanin ranges and the dye layer, okay? This is how the occlusion is working, so you can see these shadowings, creating more negative spaces, more structure to the hair. And if you look at the temporal line here, you can see how this pixel depth set helps us with the transitions as well. Cool. By the way, did I tell you these are actually game-ready assets, ready to go?
Oh, that looks fantastic. Female character hair needs an update, desperately.
So now that we understand a bit better,
put them in the game then if they're ready. Please. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You can examine these images with a bit more of an informed opinion. That is basically the example. Now, that's all very exciting, but we want to show you hairstyles that are actually in Star Engine and working. So that's the video we're going to take a look next, okay?
Oh, they're going to come out with 3.22. Oh, that looks nice. It's game ready. Yeah, it's game ready, but it's not in game. That's the problem. Although hopefully they will be soon. And there's at least a few months work between what they call game ready and put in the game. Yeah, usually. Like the hairs themselves may be game ready, but the other moving parts may not be ready for deployment. So, but based on what they said, they did say that looks fantastic too. They did say that everything we're going to see, for the most part, this weekend is going to be deployed to the game within the next 12 months. So, hopefully by end of next year, a lot of this stuff will be in. Yeah, exactly. Because even something cosmetic like hair has lots of other interdependencies. Oh, they updated that one. That actually looks like a nice bob. Because the one that's in the game right now, it looks kind of not very good. It's horrible. Horrible. This actually looks nice, especially with the layered effect. It's a nice feathering around the tips. Yeah. There's the classic that's in the game, which isn't bad. It's not a bad one. It's just there's not enough variety. Part of the problem. Yes. Well, I think that's one of the problems that they're trying to figure out, is to reduce the resource load while still making them look really good. That's some statement hair right there. That just screams, I'm a space gigolo. And that's the secret word for this episode. If you're watching this later on YouTube, type space gigolo in the chat, in the comments if you made it this far. I like that blue. I think performance is mostly what they meant by game ready. Entirely possible. Are you going to show us some new hairstyles? Maybe?
Great, guys. So I can see by your feedback that you really enjoyed the dye, so I'm going to try and direct.
By the time I do end up with the game, my brand new GPU will have been replaced. Yes, likely.
Yeah, these are game-ready assets as well. No,
okay.
What I promised you.
Yeah.
We're trying to make this diverse and get away a little bit from this type of hairstyles you just see now, which is a bit more military.
The current state of 3.21
we'll have the next
runs
video.
the smoothest it's ever run so far.
It's important for you to understand if there's any 3D artists, character artists,
slowly. They're getting there.
You will know. Some of the hairstyles you're going to see next are some of the hardest things you can do in hair for games. in a practical sense, if you can do what is going to be shown next and render it at 60 frames per second on an MMO, you can do pretty much anything. Okay? It's our glimpse into the future of what type of diversity we want to achieve. We're not only going for this style, but just showing you that if this style is one of the directions, then the full range will come. I hope you enjoy.
Oh, fantastic. Bring on the goodies. Mm-hmm. And they need to dramatically increase it because it's hard to connect to a character in an MMO that's a menacing hair soundtrack. It kind of is, yeah. It's hard to connect to a character that looks like every other character. The one thing that, you know, MMOs now need to have that ability to get as individualistic as you possibly can within the constraints of the game engine so that players can connect to their characters. That looks fantastic. I love the detail. Response message. Those all look fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Lol.
So yeah, like I've been saying, these pictures you see here, they are all rendered as you see in real time, depending on the light conditions and stuff. But there is no tricks here. This is actually how it looks. And that's why we're really proud. Like I said, it doesn't end up here, okay? We're pushing this forward. This is just to replace the stuff that was there. I'm pretty sure you guys were tired. Nobody at CIG was happy with what we had. I can assure you that. Yeah. Especially as an artist, right? So, but we finally arrived. Now, we've seen all this. What does this mean in a practical sense for you guys? It's the question you may have.
When do we get it?
Well, let me tell you really fast. We made over 75 hairstyles since like 6 months ago. On the last 6 months, we made 75 hairstyles. That is a lot. That was possible with all the changes we made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When do we get them in game?
That is a great achievement. Now, we cannot hand them all to you right now. It's very simple. It's very simple. It doesn't end up here at the artist end, okay? After this, there's a tech art pass where they need to skin it. They need to make it work with hats, with goggles, with everything that needs to work, right? So it's a process that takes time, but we wanted to have a certain amount, a quantity that would be enough to replace all the stuff that it's there, give you enough variety for you to start, and that's what we're gonna see next. Now, it also tells you when are you getting it. So, as a last note, I'll leave you with this video, and next, Forrest will come here to talk about this stuff. So, let's take a look at this, guys.
Hey.
This is actually what you're getting. Into the PU.
Okay. It's, you know, some of the redefined stuff. Okay. 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 All right. Okay. When? Probably 3.22. Major hair update. Q4 2023. So 3.22, which is kind of what I thought.
So before the year ends, you're all gonna get to enjoy these hairstyles. It was a pleasure to be
New
here with you today,
hair.
guys, and see you in the verse.
Another round of applause for Andre and getting new hairs into the game.
Woohoo!
I can't wait to put new hair on my character, I'll tell you that.
And for Ian and his awesome character team and the amazing characters they showed us earlier.
The
Absolutely
things
fantastic.
that would make sense for
I'm
Q4.
going to run
Yes.
through this. We don't have a lot of time. I'm going to talk to you about character heads. We've talked about hair.
Oh my God!
We've
Yay!
talked about outfits. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the heads and our pipeline and getting us from the actors that we hire to do the photogrammetry all the way to the game characters. So we have a DNA pool, expansion, and customization I'm going to be taking you through. We made a data-driven pipeline for adding new heads. So what is a DNA pool? DNA pool is just a bunch of heads that we put into the game. That way you can modify the ears, the nose, the chin, the mouth, and you could interpolate between all the different heads. A DNA pool.
Okay.
We want to expand the pool and allow for more selection and range. So we scanned 60 new heads for our DNA pool. 60 new heads. And we processed
That's fantastic,
them
but
internally.
it doesn't sound good. We just
also added
scanned some heads.
customizable facial features, skin tones, complexion, makeup layer on top.
Now I just see a
Revisited the
CIT. They
eyes.
just have these
These
rows of
characters look
bottled
new and
heads.
They look great.
A la Futurama. Like, scan this one, Fred. Okay, George.
All right. So our current pool, there's the 18 heads right there.
Yep.
But that wasn't enough. We need more. That is our new pool.
Fantastic. And it's got a broad, diverse range. But how far can we customize beyond the heads?
Very exciting. Right now in the PU, when you're playing, see that center row? You get 9 females and 9 males. And now we're going to be getting all these characters. It's for Squadron and the Persistent Universe. How do we do it? Well, we partnered with Clear Angle over in Pinewood, London. And they have this thing called the Clear Angle Dorothy scanner. The scanner improvements allows us to get shoots done in 4 weeks of sessions. Custom coded flash that just kind of does it automatically.
It looks like a
All
cage.
calibrated in seconds.
3D scanner.
To give you an idea, our old process for doing this took hours.
The start
to
of the
calibrate.
transporter.
This thing
Eventually, those things
does it
will
in
be,
seconds.
you know,
Talk about state of
engines
the
that
art.
will deconstruct you and then reconstruct you somewhere else.
Average
No, I'm
of 4
kidding.
scan actors per day now. We used to be doing 1. What this means to you is we can get you characters faster. We can get you new heads faster.
Okay.
Polarized image data resulted in improved spec, blah, blah, blah. Those are awesome texture maps that we could put on the head. That way we could render them, make them look really good. Photogrammetry captured in raw images at 8K
Murder you and then
texture
create a
map
duplicate that is
resolutions.
hard to distinguish. Exactly.
Hyper-accurate scan results.
We're getting closer to Gola technology now.
Now, close your eyes if you're a little sensitive to light. This is the process we use
Jesus.
to get the pictures, to build the photogrammetry, to calibrate the cameras.
Okay. I mean, technology is wild, man. Wild.
All right. So we got some characters here on the screen. Those are all built using all these things that I briefly mentioned. I want to talk to you a little bit about skin tone, though. Skin tone's tricky because we want to apply it. We want to be able to customize it. We want you to have the ability to do whatever you want. So what you see is some really weird-looking characters. We see a head with some yellow. Yellow's good in this case. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find the average skin color. Once we find the average skin color, we can figure out what that skin tone is, and then we can apply it. The blue means it's further away from the average skin tone. So when you apply your skin tone, it has less influence, keeping those high details, keeping the color, the blemishes, the imperfections. That middle one, that whitehead, that's where we get once we've extracted the data. It's now ready to apply the skin tone, which you see at the end.
And this is the beginning of androids, kids. I mean, it's the level of detail and whatnot. It's fantastic.
All right, so here's a little more detail what I'm talking about. We knew that we were going to get a pull for these heads, this pool of all these different awesome shapes, noses, ears, lips. But now, with what we're doing currently, you can see that we have calibrated all of our source
Snatchers.
photos of our actors.
Same thing.
And with that, we can figure out exactly what they're supposed to look like. And then once I extract and do the average thing, I'm able to get a value. And that value translates into a skin tone. And that skin tone translates into a chart that you can customize your character with. And what's great about this is as we grow our pool and we get more heads, we get more skin tones. So our skin tones aren't based on, you know, whatever it should be. What should it be? What does it look like? These are
Give
real
us
data.
more.
These are real data that we get from these incredible clear angle scans and the incredible tech that is written by our staff. And the skin tone will grow along with our head data and along with our heads. And there's an example
Not
of me
the
just
head
applying
data.
it and showing that in practice.
Give us s'mores. Yes.
And now here's another look. Here's a couple more characters
It's
that I put
fantastic.
together with this stuff.
My son
And here's
will
what's
grow with
great
my head.
about that. I did that with our brand new character creator, character customizer for Squadron 42.
Okay.
Every head you see in here, which will also be applied to the persistent universe, so all
Thank
heads
you.
are in the verse.
All heads all the time. Giving us all the heads. We always want more head.
And as you can see right here, here's a little scene I put together using the outfits, using the hair, using the skin, using the heads. And I did that all with the new character
A
creator.
verse full of heads.
And here to show you that, if the live demo of the character creator, I'm going to bring back my good friend Sean Tracy.
What? It's not a phrase that should be used ever, right?
Thanks, buddy. Oh, it's awesome. All right, so what's this all mean to you guys? Let's show ya. Time for live demo.
Woohoo!
All right. So I want to welcome you to the Biotic Corp Calliope machine.
Oh, we're getting fancy. He's so excited.
All right. So here you can see we've got the whoa. I'm getting feedback. You can see we've got two body types that I can select from at any point in time.
Oh,
So we're going to start in right away.
the feedback is a bit
Now,
sharp
you
on
might
the ears.
recall how the character creator currently works. You would have a whole bunch of source heads from our DNA pool. We would select one of the facial shapes, and then we'd blend it up
Yeah.
or down, depending on how much you wanted that certain facial shape. Now, this was pretty good, but it's not the most intuitive of systems. So instead, what we wanted to come up with was a much more intuitive way to control this. And what we've now introduced is sculpting mode.
Finally, The Sims in space.
So it's quite interesting to know what's going on behind the scenes, and this wasn't an easy problem to solve, but our animation programmers and tech artists and everybody came together, and they
It's what
figured
we
out a way
needed.
to basically make it so that from the DNA pool, we are making a selection based on what
Games
you
really do
want
need to
out
do
of
that
it.
more.
So it's going on between all the different options. Now, I'm going to start making some changes here right away. So I want to wind up the nose. You can see that it's all very intuitive. It's
And
fast
you
to
know,
use.
people are going to make some really
I'm gonna make the
weird
lips a
shaped
little bit bigger
people.
here.
And I don't care
There we
because
go,
we can
something
do
like that. I think that looks
the
pretty good.
things and
I'm going to adjust the brow here, maybe make a little bit of a heavier brow. Now we can adjust
We're
the
not
eye
all gonna
shape.
look
We
the
can go
same
more
anymore.
almond eyes.
Yay!
We can go more oval.
that's all that happens.
We can have
Once I
heavy
did-
lids.
yeah.
You know, I can find a whole bunch of different
Man,
options
remember when
within here.
Spore came out and we were all making giant penises?
So here,
penis
we're
monsters?
starting to look pretty good. I want to give him a little bit more of a hero chin. There we go. I'm liking that. Yes. That's cool.
Some
All
good
right,
level of
so,
sculpting.
Not to spend too much time on that, I want to show you some of the other features. And speaking of features, we go to our skin tone. So finally, you're not just selecting a preset skin tone. you can
You've
move
got
through the whole
shades.
gamut of the lookup table. And this is
Fantastic.
melanin and hemoglobin at the same time.
Nice. Nice color palette for whatever
So at the
you
very
need.
top of it, I've got a texture slider. So instead of the whole head sort of selection, we can go between all the different textures now. Like Forrest mentioned, we're going to have 30 of these for one body type and 30 for the other body type. So here I'm kind of liking, what am I like? Oh, I like this one.
There, to deal with
So
puppy.
here, and I'm just going to
If
set
you
a skin
didn't
tone
make a
that I
penis
kinda
chance,
like.
half the races you interacted with
Something
were.
like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
That's cool. All right. So the next step,
All the heads in the
our skin
verse.
tone is the complexion. And complexion, we've added freckles.
Woohoo! Humanity is made up of a giant combination
So
of
here
imperfections.
I'm just blending in and I'm blending out the amount of freckles. Now I've cranked it all the way to the top just so you guys can see it. But for my character here, I'm going to keep it kind of subtle, like this, but quite a few of them, something like that. We've also got
Okay.
sunspots. Now
Okay.
this is, a little more weathered skin. We'll give this sort of look. And we've got a whole bunch
For
of
your
different
Fremen
blemish
out in the
masks
desert?
planned for you guys. Whether that's
Or the volcanic
sunspots or
planets?
liver spots or anything to that effect. Now, I'm going to give this guy kind of a weathered look because I
Not the
think
clear
skin tone
skin
looks
of
pretty
the
cool like that.
verdant vacation worlds.
Yeah, I'm digging that. All right, so next up, eyes. So no longer do we have the green and the brown, just the full selection. You've
Shades
got a
of
full
eyes.
RGB
Bars always
chart
go
of
from
what you
invisible
wanna
to skin
select.
cancer.
So
Yes.
if you want to have
Yes,
bright
they
green
do.
eyes, if you want to have hazel
Wow,
eyes, if
let's
you want to have
go.
blue eyes, if you want to have any of these eyes. This is all very, very nice. So again, we can go.
When are we gonna
deep
get it,
browns.
though? When are we
We can
gonna
go with
get
sort of a
it?
steely blue, which I'm kind of digging for this skin tone. I quite like that look.
When
That's
are we
cool.
gonna get these magical things?
Oh, well, we'll get into some funky colors. Don't you worry. All right. So one of the other things we've added,
Okay.
and it was mentioned before, we've added a makeup layer. And with the makeup layer, we're totally inclusive. Any of the body types can have makeup. Now, I don't want to spend too long on it here because we're going to get into it in a couple minutes. But I just want to show you sort of blending that in, blending that out for this particular body type. So
Good.
next, as Andre talked about, we have all the hairstyles that you could want.
All them beautiful hairs.
So I'm just
Hair,
gonna
hair
pick a
everywhere.
couple different ones.
Look
There's
good, too.
a reality for some of
They
us.
look a lot
and
crisper.
Another reality for another one of us. There it
Yes.
is. That's what I want my reality to be here. Something like this. I'm digging the mohawk though for this one. He's got a bit of a Mr. T look to him. I kind of like this. Yeah, I pity the fool. All right.
Wow. All right. I'm here for it. It's fantastic.
So it might go without saying that we've got beards now. So if you want to select a full
Woohoo!
beard, you can select a full
Do
beard.
the
If you
beards
want
look
just mutton
good?
chops, you got your mutton chops. You want your handlebar, you got your handlebar.
I was thinking the same thing.
All right. So we've got all the different beard types that you could want, and we're going to add as many as you guys really want. So I'm
Okay.
kind of digging the full beard for this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm digging the full beard for this guy. Even further to that, we've got eyebrow selection, which is, I mean, you could go with no eyebrows. That's a very real
Choice.
Yeah, you could have bushy ones.
Yeah,
You can
the
have
beards
a
need
little
some
bit
work. I
more,
was thinking the same
normal,
thing.
kinda
But,
straightforward
you know,
ones.
they're better than what they
But
could
it was
be.
mentioned before during the hair and with Forrest's discussion.
I'm
we've got
assuming
the
that the
hair
beards
dye
are going to
as
get
well.
the hair pass eventually.
So with the hair dye, you can affect all the hair
I
at
might
once. And
be,
right
yes.
Now, I've got
If it
all
doesn't look like
selected,
shit.
So I can go through the gamut of all the different hairs.
And I got to
melanin
tinge a little bit
that
of
you can
gray and,
set.
you know,
So here I'm just going to darken
it's going
it
to
up a
represent the
little bit.
fact that I'm fucking
And
old.
If I wanted to dye the facial hair, I could just dye the facial hair all by itself. Setting a
Okay,
dye
that's
color here.
nice.
Something like that. But in the end, I'm really digging the jet black on
But
this
what about the
particular one.
eyebrows? Can you dye the
So I'm
eyebrows?
gonna
Serious question.
Cross these tips a little bit. I think that's going to look kind of cool.
You're just going to make your own face.
Set a bit of a blonde.
My own
here,
face, but better.
Turn up the dye amount.
I'll take
And
my
then what's
face and then
really
make it
cool about
handsome.
This, and I'll show this in a minute, is that we can actually control the
Actually,
fall
you
off
know
of
me
it.
in
So,
MMOs. I
again,
generally
if I
don't play
just
male
want this
characters
on the
anyways. It
tips,
doesn't really matter.
I can just blend it right about here. So there we go. He looks a lot different than how that started, and I think that's actually pretty fun. Now, there's a lot of stuff in here,
True.
and I can't wait for you guys to explore it and spend as much time as you want customizing and expressing yourself as a character. So once
Personal
you're
declaration.
done, you've got to sign off a personal declaration that the physical appearances that the calliope process has allegedly caused are okay with you.
Allegedly caused?
So let's go to our next body
That doesn't sound reassuring.
All right. So I'm gonna go to town here.
But you still can't. What about body shape?
Right away. And you might look
like,
you might
can you
think it
change
looks a little
height
off or so,
or
but I don't know. We're gonna
mass?
Get there. Let's make some changes here. Gonna adjust the bridge of the nose, maybe a little bit of the cheekbones here. That's maybe a little extreme. Let's go back here. Something like that. And I'll make the lips a little bit smaller.
You know what I mean.
And I'm going to lengthen that chin for a little more of a triangle kind of face here.
Musculature.
So you can tweak to your heart's content. You can spend a lot of time doing this. And I don't really like the
Yay,
brows,
character
so
customization stream coming up at some point in the future.
Character. And that's looking pretty good to me, actually. So next, just like we did before, we go into features. We can do the skin tone. I'm going to select a certain texture here just because we got to get going on time here. Let's go. Something around here is looking pretty good to me. Cool. All right, we go into the complexion the same way that we did before. So we start
figure
with the
types and
freckles.
shapes would be interesting too. Yeah, exactly.
And I kind of
like
the
you
real
need a
freckle
diversity
tones
of
on
figure
this
types, not just
particular
this.
character.
Like customizing
And I'm
of
gonna turn down the sunspot.
face and head is
we
important.
move
It
forward
is, but
to the eye
you
color
also
again.
have height differentials, weight,
Ooh,
size,
really
shape,
green.
all those things. I'm hoping eventually we'll see that, but maybe that'll be
And we
a
get to the
eventually kind of
makeup.
thing.
Now, this is where I wanted to spend more time. Now, I'm arguably not very good at this, but I will do my absolute best to show you guys how you can...
I can understand why they may
How
not
you
want to
can
go
use it.
that route just because of resources, but
So first
Pirate
is the
Pete
eyeliner.
needs his peg leg. Absolutely.
So the eyeliner, we can do any color.
Eventually,
You
we
can go
need
as
full
crazy
cybernetic
or as chill
conversion,
as you wanna go
changing
with
out
this,
the
but for this
parts.
particular, I'm going to go quite dark
Just like the
here.
pouches they showed
Just gonna
earlier,
get
some
dark sort of
snap-on
fuchsias
cybernetics.
and purples.
Just take your arm off and put a
Here,
new arm
we're
on and be
doing
great.
the inner lid eyeshadow, and that I'm kind of keeping the same theme, I think. Yeah, and we're going to do the same thing with the broad eyeshadow. So again, we can go as crazy
A little thick.
or as calm as you want.
StarHair might have been part of the process to getting to body shape. That's
So,
true too.
What I've had good success in doing is kind of having
Because
it cranked
changes
and
in
then
body
just
shape will
pull it
change the
back to
way
a little
the
more
architecture
of
of
a
the
natural
clothing that those
blend,
bodies are on and how
something to
those
this
all
effect here.
interact with movement and things.
Next is the lips. We can do the exact same stuff on the lips. Now, what we have is a whole bunch of
They
different
may be working on it, they
makeup
just don't wanna
masks,
show it to us
and
right now.
You've got 3 different channels within those masks, so basically 3 different colors that are affecting different areas of it. Now, for the lips, we can go with the same sort of theme if we wanted, and I think I'm actually kind of digging that. And let's go on the lip liner, a little darker. And then lips are a lot more glossy, so we can increase the gloss there, so that looks a little more like a
Yes.
lip gloss. Yeah, that looks pretty cool there. And then, like I was doing before, I kind of just pull it back a little bit. And there we are. So next, I think we're good. Yeah. I think we're good.
Fantastic.
I have no business doing that, that's for sure. Same thing on the hair. Again, we've got a whole bunch of different hairstyles. These will all be shared between the 2 body types, but for this particular demo, we've got the ponytail, we've got the slick back kind of look. Yeah, I'm not finding
Those
what
look
I'm
so
really
much
digging
better.
yet. Ah, yes. Yes, now we're talking. All right. So
Compared to
cool.
what's
Now,
in the game right
again,
now, those
we're
look
fully
so much
inclusive
better.
here, guys. So if you want facial hair on any body type, you got facial hair on any body type. That is up
Good.
to you guys. So on the eyebrows, I'm just going to leave them because we can't really see them anyways. But for the hair, I really like dyeing this hair a certain color, sort of, something in the darker range. I'm going to turn that down. I
Okay.
like the nice jet black. Look at the makeup bounce out. That looks cool. I'm going to turn up the dye, though, and I'm going to try to carry my same theme forward here. There we go.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give it a bit of a fall off. as we can do.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
see me
just
spending a
on the
significant
tip
amount of
side.
time in the character creator.
So let's see that in action.
Yep. Especially as they increase the things.
All right. So now,
Yeah.
you know, at first, weren't sure about that character, right? But in the end, I think she turned out, definitely. So you go to a review, sign off your declaration again, and head to game. So, you know, I'm really lucky to be
Gonna
able
get
to
bored
sit
in
in
5
front
minutes
of
and
this.
run away with
again,
monstrosity.
it was a huge
I
amount
could
of
see
work
that,
from
yes.
tech art, engineering, designers, and specifically the squadron feature team.
And I like that
has
you can
done
actually
all
put
this work.
first and
one of the
last name
cool
in. I'm
things
hoping
to
that
note is
carries over
we
to the
use this
persistent
now
universe
internally as a
rather
tool.
than just
That's why it's
using
me up here demoing
the
this is our tool internally for creating all
login
these
names
heads,
and
for
stuff.
creating all the NPCs in the verse.
More character
Because,
personality.
As Chris put it one time, he doesn't want his NPCs to look lame. He wants them to look cool. And this gives you cool looking characters. Thanks a lot, guys.
That was fantastic. I want to know when we're getting this, though. When are we getting this? Oh. What?
It works. All right, we're behind on schedule.
That's
so
the
let's
thing from
welcome the
yesterday.
live from the first person crew. Take it away. I'll be here. I'm busy.
All right. Be right back. Stopping this so I can get it uploaded to YouTube, and we'll jump into the next one.